Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land, and welcome to DC Fans United. So today I am continuing my series of reviews by taking a look back at Countdown number 9. So I've reviewed all of the other issues from number 51 down to this point, so you can check those out with a link in the description box. So this issue was written by Paul Dini with Justin Gray and Jimmy Palmiotti. Keith Giffen was the story consultant. Tom Derenick did the penciling on this, which is a really good thing. Wayne Faucher did the inks, and Pete Pantazis did the coloring. Ken Lopez was on the letters, and Stefan Rue did the cover, along with Corrine B. So let's take a look at that cover. I really like it. I think the coloring is really awesome, and it's got some of my favorite characters right up front and center. You've got Donna Troy and, of course, Mary Marvel. This is also a really good cover because of how it fits into the story. It shows something that actually takes place. And yeah, it's just really dynamic and cool. Everybody's centered real well. And again, I really love those colors that Corrine B did on that. So we'll go ahead and start off on the first page. Now this is picking up right where the last issue left off, so you definitely want to be up to speed on what's been happening. But if you don't know what's going on, essentially there was a big shift in the Earth on Apokolips where all of this is taking place, and the Piper and Darkseid fell a great distance, and they both survived. I wasn't sure if they were going to live through that or not. It looked pretty horrible. It's really crazy. The Piper's played a fairly prominent role throughout this series, and he's here because Darkseid wants him to play the anti-life equation, which is something he can do apparently. So then we see on the next page an O.M.A.C.s shows up. So the O.M.A.C.s are under control of Brother Eye, and he's in the process of taking over Apokolips. So we see the credit page, and we see the O.M.A.C.s carrying Karate Kid. He confronts him, and it's really actually pretty funny because Darkseid goes off on this whole speech about how he's going to get the anti-life equation and he's going to take over, and the O.M.A.C.s is just like mute subject and shoots him. So it's like, wow, that was unexpected. Little levity in the situation. So we go to the next page. Again, the coloring on this issue is really good, and the art throughout's really good. The Monitor, known as Solomon, is talking to Darkseid, and they've more or less been playing a chess game, but with reality. And this whole deal with Brother Eye destroying Apokolips was essentially the doing of this Monitor, but Darkseid's like, well, I don't care. Everything ends. It's fine. I expected that, but it's going to end on my terms. So that's really interesting. And then we are picking up with Jason Todd, who's dressed as Red Robin. He's just been running around on Apokolips, and he sees Piper and Karate Kid getting hauled in by the O.M.A.C.s, so he figures he better follow. Then we pick up with my crew here. We got Donna Troy and everyone. Looks really awesome. They decide that they better go and help Red Robin, or Jason Todd. So they head in his direction, and they notice the O.M.A.C.s aren't attacking them, but they also notice that the Apokoliptians have been disappearing, so they figure the O.M.A.C.s are focused on them. And we see that Darkseid is yet again still alive. He just will not die. So the O.M.A.C. brings Karate Kid to Brother Eye, and Brother Eye analyzes him, and he wants this virus from the future that's in Karate Kid's body. So he's going to take that and use it as a super weapon. And that's what we're seeing. The Piper's just kind of watching what's going on. And then there's this really awesome sequence where Jason Todd basically runs in and tries to save the day and fights the O.M.A.C. It's really awesome, and what he does is he gets the O.M.A.C. to break a glass container that has Firestorm in it. So his whole plan there was to unleash Firestorm, but Firestorm is too groggy and doesn't help, and Jason gets blasted. So pretty wicked. And as he flies back, the others show up, so they join the fight. Very cool. They are able to take down the O.M.A.C. since they've got him outnumbered and outgunned. Adam leaps forward and tries to help and rescue Karate Kid, and does manage to free him, but he's unconscious and looks like he's in really bad shape. But in any case, Brother Eye isn't too worried about the situation because, as we see here, he booms out, disappears with his boom tube technology, and we're left a whole army of O.M.A.C.s surrounding our heroes. And this was my favorite page, just how they're standing and they're surrounded by an entire superpowered army. It's really dramatic and epic, and Jason Todd says, "Stand up straight, Firestorm. We're about to die gloriously." So pretty powerful stuff. So then, once again, Darkseid gets a hold of the Piper, and he throws him and says, you know, you're gonna play the anti-life equation. And the Piper's like, all right. And he says, all right, I'll play, and he starts playing. Then he gets this devious look, and believe it or not, he hurts Darkseid, and then we see Darkseid's head just boom, gone, blows up. So then Piper turns and faces Brother Eye, and what we see here is really powerful. I actually got little goosebumps. You might have to go through and read this sometime yourself, but it's very poetic, kind of his song that he plays, and it destroys Brother Eye. You see it blow up there, and then at the very last panel, very last page, you see Apokolips itself is falling apart. Well, we're almost at the end. It's not the very end. You see Apokolips falling apart, and it looks like something's leaving, so that's interesting. And then our heroes, we see, are still alive, but they're falling through the earth as it's collapsing, and Una's back. She is no longer controlled by the O.M.A.C.s, and that's the end of this issue, so we have to go to the next issue to find out how they get out of this one. But we get 2 extra bonus pages. It's the origin of Black Manta. So a lot of these have little origin stories at the end that are 2 pages, and they're usually really good and informative. So that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed the issue. I thought it was one of the better ones. I liked it a lot, and I'd like to say thank you to my patrons, Tristan Just and Robert Stardcraft, as well as George Ascension. And you can support me too on Patreon with a link in the description box to get your own shoutouts and access to videos I post only on Patreon. So that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't. And as always, thank you for being a part of DC Fans United.
End of line.